Welcome back, everyone. It's March 21st, 2025, and today we're going to do a deep dive into something that's been making a lot of headlines lately,
Yeah,
AI agents.
definitely a hot topic. And
Definitely, yeah.
for this deep dive, we're going to be looking at a book that comes highly recommended even by Elon Musk.
Oh, wow.
It's called Life 3.0,
Mm-hmm.
Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence, written by Max Tegmark. And what we really want to get to the bottom of is how these increasingly autonomous AI systems are changing the game.
Yeah.
We're talking about how businesses are using them, how they're impacting the way society functions,
Right.
and really what they mean for the future, especially now in 2025.
Yeah, it seems like every day there's a new article or a new development, and it's hard to keep up.
It really is. So
Okay.
our goal today is to kind of cut through all the hype and give you a clear picture of what AI agents are, what they can do, and what their impact really is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We want to make this practical and relevant to what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So to kick things off, let's start with the book Life 3.0. Can you give us a quick rundown of the main idea behind it?
Sure. So at its heart, Life 3.0 is really looking ahead at where artificial intelligence is going and the kinds of big changes it could bring.
Okay.
And one of the core concepts is this idea of Life 3.0 itself, which Tegmark describes as beings that can design not just their software like we do today, but their actual physical forms too.
So they're not just writing code, they're actually
Right.
building themselves.
They're shaping their own hardware.
That's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It is, and he uses AI agents as a prime example of this kind of self-designing entity.
So AI agents are like the poster child for Life 3.0.
You could say that.
Now, in the book, Tegmark talks about these different stages of AI development.
Yes.
We have narrow AI, general AI, and then superintelligence.
Right.
So where do AI agents fit into this whole picture?
Well, he breaks it down like this. We've got narrow AI, which is what we're mostly dealing with now.
Right.
It's great at specific tasks, like playing chess or translating languages.
Yeah.
But then there's general AI, which is basically human-level intelligence across a wide range of tasks.
Okay.
And then you've got superintelligence, which surpasses human capabilities.
And that's where things start to get really interesting, but also maybe a little scary.
Yeah, a bit of both, for sure.
So where are we now in 2025 in terms of these stages?
We're still largely in the narrow AI phase, but the thing is, with AI agents, they're becoming more and more independent.
Right.
And that's really a step towards general AI and potentially superintelligence.
So it's not just that they're getting smarter, it's that they're act on their own.
It's the autonomy that's key here. They're making decisions and taking actions without direct human input.
So what kind of impact does Tegmark see this having on the world?
Well, Life 3.0 really delves into how AI could completely change how we do almost everything.
Okay.
We're talking about the way industries work, how we govern ourselves, even our daily routines.
So he's really painting a picture of a future that's heavily influenced by AI.
Absolutely.
Right.
He even has chapters like The Next 1,000 Years, where he lays out some pretty wild scenarios.
I mean, it's almost like science fiction at that point.
It does get pretty futuristic, but the thing is, some of these ideas aren't as far-fetched as they might seem,
Right.
especially when you look at how quickly technology is advancing.
Yeah, I mean, we've already seen so much change just in the last few years.
Exactly, and that pace is only going to accelerate.
Now, he also talks about the importance of having some kind of ethical framework for all of this.
Yes, that's a huge part of his message. He stresses how crucial it is to establish clear guidelines for AI development.
Right, because if we don't, we could end up in some pretty tricky situations.
Absolutely. And he specifically mentions these Asalamar AI principles, which are basically a set of recommendations for ensuring that AI remains safe and beneficial.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those. They're all about preventing those unintended consequences.
Exactly. And it's interesting because this is something that Elon Musk has been talking about a lot, too.
Yeah, he's been pretty vocal about the need for responsible AI development.
He has. He sees the potential benefits, but he's also very aware of the risks.
And speaking of risks, Life 3.0 doesn't shy away from the potential downsides of AI, does it?
No, it doesn't. He acknowledges that there are real challenges, and he even cites some pretty sobering statistics.
Like what?
Well, there's that McKinsey report from 2024 that projected around 30% of jobs could be at risk by 2030 due to AI.
Wow, 30%. That's a huge chunk of the workforce.
It is, and it's something that we need to be prepared for.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about robots taking over. It's about how AI is going to change the nature of work itself.
Exactly. It's going to require a lot of adaptation and retraining for a lot of people.
So there are definitely some big questions around the future of work.
Definitely. But it's not all doom and gloom.
No, I mean, the book also talks about the potential benefits of AI agents, right?
It does. And alongside the potential disruptions, Tegmark also highlights the amazing opportunities.
Like what?
Well, for one thing, AI agents could drastically increase productivity. They can automate a lot of those routine tasks that take up so much of our time.
Right.
And that frees up human intellect for more creative and innovative work.
So it's not necessarily about AI replacing humans. It's more about AI augmenting human capabilities.
That's the idea. And we're already starting to see this happen in real-world applications.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about what's happening right now in 2025.
Okay.
We're seeing AI agents move beyond the theoretical and into actual businesses.
We are.
What are some concrete examples of how companies are using them today?
Well, you mentioned xAI's Grok earlier, which is a perfect example.
Right, it's an AI agent that's designed to help users with various tasks and provide information.
Exactly. But it's not just about personal assistance. We're seeing major companies integrating AI agents into their operations.
Like who?
Well, Amazon, for instance, has reportedly been using AI agents to optimize their logistics.
There are logistics, so like deliveries and warehousing?
Yeah, all of that. And there was a Forbes report back in January that said this has led to a significant cost reduction, something like 15%.
Wow, 15%. That's a pretty big impact.
It is, and it shows that AI agents can have a real bottom line impact for businesses.
So they're not just a cool tech demo, they're actually making a difference.
Exactly.
And Life 3.0 also talks about how AI agents could revolutionize customer service.
It does, and this is another area where we're seeing real-world applications.
Right, I mean, we've all interacted with chatbots at some point.
Yeah, and those are basically AI agents.
And Gartner actually predicted that by 2025, chatbots could handle up to 80% of customer service inquiries.
80%. That's a huge shift.
It is. So we could be looking at a future where most of our interactions with companies are handled by AI agents.
It's definitely a possibility, and it could free up human agents to deal with more complex issues.
Yeah, so instead of being stuck on the phone with basic questions, they can focus on the things that really require human intervention.
Exactly. And it could potentially lead to faster response times for those more routine inquiries.
Now, beyond just interacting with customers, AI agents could also play a role in internal business decision-making.
Yes, and this is something that's starting to emerge.
How so?
Well, AI agents are being used to analyze massive amounts of data.
Okay.
They can identify trends and patterns that humans might miss.
And then they can use that information to provide insights that can guide strategic decisions.
Right. But of course, this raises some important questions about how we develop and deploy these systems.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically giving them a lot of power and influence over business decisions.
We are. So it's more important than ever to ensure that these systems are developed responsibly and ethically.
So those Asilomar AI principles that we talked about earlier become even more relevant in this context.
Absolutely. Companies need to be transparent about how they're using AI agents, and they need to be accountable for the decisions that these systems make.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about the ethical framework that we build around it.
Exactly. And if companies don't get this right, they risk losing the trust of both consumers and regulators.
So it's not just a matter of good ethics. It's also a matter of good business.
It's both.
Now let's bring Elon Musk back into the conversation.
Okay.
We mentioned earlier that he recommended Life 3.0.
Yes.
So what do you think it is about this book that resonates with him?
Well, I think he appreciates the fact that it's a balanced perspective.
What do you mean?
It doesn't just paint AI as this utopian solution or this dystopian nightmare.
Okay.
It acknowledges both the incredible potential and the very real challenges.
So it's a nuanced view.
Exactly. And that's very much in line with Musk's own thinking.
I mean, he's a huge proponent of AI, but he's also been very outspoken about the potential dangers.
Right. He's not afraid to raise the alarm about the risks.
Yeah, he's even compared AI to summoning a demon.
He has. And I think those concerns are very much in line with the ethical considerations that Tegmark raises in the book.
So it's not just a theoretical discussion for Musk. It's something he's actively grappling with in his own work.
Absolutely. And we see that with his involvement in xAI.
Right. He founded xAI to ensure that AI development is aligned with human values.
Exactly. And they're working on some very interesting projects like Grok.
Which, as we mentioned earlier, is an AI agent designed to accelerate human discovery and understanding.
Right.
So he's clearly putting a lot of thought and effort into making sure that AI is used for good.
He is. And his influence in the tech world is undeniable.
I mean, he's one of the most followed people on X.
He is. And when he talks about AI, people listen.
Yeah, he's definitely helped to bring this topic to the forefront of public consciousness.
He has. And that's important because This isn't just an issue for tech companies or scientists to worry about.
Right. This is something that's going to affect all of us.
It will, and we all need to be part of the conversation.
So as we look around in 2025, it seems like AI agents are becoming increasingly embedded in our everyday lives.
They are. And it's not just in the business world either.
No, I mean, we're seeing them pop up everywhere.
We are. We've already talked about personal assistants like Grok.
But there are also things like autonomous drones for deliveries.
Oh, yeah, I've seen those zipping around my neighborhood.
Yeah, they're becoming more and more common. And FedEx actually reported a 20% increase in their drone delivery operations this year.
20%. That's a pretty significant jump.
It is, and it shows how quickly this technology is being adopted.
And it's all part of this bigger trend of increasing automation.
Exactly. We're seeing machines take on more and more tasks that were traditionally done by humans.
And it's not just about convenience. It's also about efficiency and cost savings.
Right, and as these systems become more sophisticated, they're going to have an even bigger impact on our lives.
And it's interesting how Life 3.0 provides this kind of framework for understanding all of this.
It does. It helps us to see the bigger picture and how all of these seemingly disparate developments are actually interconnected.
Right. It's not just a bunch of random technological advances. It's all part of this broader movement towards more autonomous systems.
Exactly. And that's why it's such an important book to be reading right now.
It helps us to make sense of the world we're living in and to prepare for the world that's coming.
It does. And for those of you listening who've been following along with our deep dives, you've probably noticed a recurring theme.
Yeah, we've talked about things like WorldCoin and the hashtag AI Sci-Fi Challenge.
Right, and all of these topics are really exploring different facets of this same question.
The question of how technology is reshaping our world.
Exactly. And AI agents are a major part of that story.
So what are some of the next big developments we might see with AI agents?
Well, it's hard to say for sure, but there are some tantalizing hints out there.
Like what?
Well, XAI has been dropping some clues about their work on multi-agent systems.
Multi-agent systems. So
Yeah.
multiple AI agents working together.
Exactly. And they're looking at using these systems for research.
So imagine a team of AI agents working collaboratively to solve complex scientific problems.
That's the idea. And it could lead to some major breakthroughs in fields like medicine and energy.
So the possibilities are pretty much endless.
They really are. And that's what makes this such an exciting field to be watching.
It's like we're standing on the edge of a new frontier.
We are, and who knows what we'll discover.
So to wrap things up, we've taken a deep dive into Max Tegmark's Life 3.0, and we've looked at how the concepts he discusses are playing out in the real world.
We've seen how businesses are using AI agents, how Elon Musk is trying to shape the future of AI, and how these systems are becoming increasingly integrated into our lives.
And we hope that this has given you a better understanding of this rapidly evolving field.
We do. And more importantly, we hope it sparked some thoughts about what all of this means for you.
Because this isn't just some abstract technological trend, this is something that's going to have a real impact on how we live and work.
It is. And it's up to all of us to engage with these questions and to shape the future of AI in a way that benefits humanity.
So here's a final thought for you to consider. Given everything we've discussed today, what aspects of your own work, your learning, or even your daily life do you think might be most unexpectedly transformed by AI agents in the years to come?
It's a question worth pondering.
It is. Thanks for joining us.